Wow. We made it. Day 4.
We did it.
Can't
all the way.
believe it. We are literally the home stretch. This is the last day of TRCMA, and we saved the best for last for all of you guys. So today we got Rupes in the house.
Yes, we do.
We got Coach Kemi in the house. We got Solution Finish, the great Chris West.
Yep.
It's going to be a good show this morning, and then we're going to have a wonderful lunch.
And then come back for more.
Yeah, right back for more, because we got Jamie the Cleaner and Alex Dwyer and the Cleaner Cast doing the halftime show. So you're going to want to check that out as well. And then afternoon, Lake Country. Optimum.
Ooh, yes.
Dr. G's here.
Which is unheard of.
Right, first time. TRC.
First time he's ever been here. This is definitely a privilege. I'm very excited for that portion.
Yeah. And then we're going to be finishing it off with our buddies at Road FS. They're going to be taking us home for the last bit of the show. Now, today also, we got a sale going on. 20% off almost everything at theragcompany.com.
Almost everything. Yes, we have to make sure that that's in there. But 20% off. You can head to theragcompany.com right now and check out everything there. And yeah, we only run 20% off every once in a while, and this is definitely something you want to take advantage of.
Yeah, because it's the last day the sale's happening.
Yes, it is.
So that means it's also the last day to pick up the special edition t-shirt. You can pick that up on the website as well. Back to TRCMA. You can also pick up the TRCMA edition towel that we have as well, and every order gets a Rag Company TRCMA style sticker.
Yes, they do, and they're awesome. Nate did a fantastic job with not just the shirts, but the stickers as well, and those towels. Right, you want to keep the vibes of TRCMA going all the way up to 2024.
Yeah,
pick up those towels,
Ooh,
use
I
them,
like it.
and use them often.
Right, and it will remind you.
It will remind you of
maybe you
all
want to
the
go
good
back
times.
and rewatch TRCMA.
Yeah, and that's the cool part about this entire event, is that everything after we're live still stays on the Rag Company YouTube channel, so you can go back and rewatch it in case you missed anything, because there's tons of good information. There's been new product releases, there's been a lot of educational bits, there's been a lot of entertaining bits as well.
Exactly. And that's one of the funnest things about the show. So thank you to everybody for tuning in for the last 4 days. Please enjoy this final edition, this last day here. Have fun with us. Again, thank you to the Rag Company for allowing us to put this on. Thanks to Pepsi for giving us all the sodas and drinks. And of course, our friends at Brooks Running for the shoes. And then we cannot do this also without Nick Drake for letting us borrow his DeLorean.
Yes.
And the Peterson boys for letting us borrow their Toyota pickup for the week. So thank you guys for being a part of that. We really appreciate it. And yeah, so first up, the boys from Colorado and one dude from Florida. That's right, the great Jason Rose and Todd Helm coming here for Rupes.
How are you?
Hello.
Here we are. Appreciate being here. I just love what the Rag Company is doing, so we're excited to be here. We have some products to talk about, right?
That's what I've heard.
Yeah.
That's what's on the table in front of us, Jason.
We have some new products that you may have heard of, you may not, but we're going to give you just an overview of several of our latest and greatest things that we just launched. So first of all, just want to talk about this thing. These are a set of wheel covers. And for those of you Rupes fans that love the branding, this is one way to add some branding to your job as you're doing Instagram photos or videos or whatever. But you put these over your tires and add some branding, but also functional benefit is it covers up the wheel that you just cleaned and the tires that you just cleaned. And when you do other procedures like sanding, polishing, or whatever, it keeps those wheels clean and those tires clean. So we're going to do a very technical installation of this product.
I would suggest paying attention to this. It's very difficult, and Jason has a lot of hints and tips and tricks to make sure you get your wheels perfectly covered. So first, you got to walk to the vehicle.
So it's got this elastic band. You just kind of reach over and tug it down over the wheel and tire. There you go.
Incredible. Thank you so much for showing that.
Very technical demo.
So what you were saying is the key is to go around the top first and then hold to the sides.
Down,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Little tips make a difference.
You know, it's the difference between a good and a great job. Everybody deserves a popsicle.
We have those in stock. All right, so the Reveal, we kind of nicknamed these the Reveal Sisters, but there's two products that are paint cleaners. So these are for preparatory before polishing and sanding, before coating application, things like that, or between steps of compounding and polishing. It also is a very good check for dieback and filling materials. These are great products for those things. But I do want to just explain the landscape on residues. So generally speaking, there are three different phases or three different types of materials that we describe on paint, things that get on paint and get in our way as we're polishing or putting protection products on. So there is a first category called non-durable materials or non-durable residues. And these are things like fingerprints and dust, polishing oils, things like that that just kind of get on the paint while you're working on a car. And the Reveal Light, which is the less aggressive of the two versions, that is perfect for those kinds of residues. So
Reveal Light for non-durable
residues.
Understood.
And then the second category is durable residues or durable materials. These are things like carnauba wax, polymer sealants. These are materials that get on the paint and they try to stay on. So they try to layer on and bond on the surface. And those, especially if they're freshly applied, the Reveal Light will work on those. But if you need a little bit stronger chemical to go after those, it would be the Reveal Strong, which is our blue and yellow, consistent with the Rupes color scheme. So the stronger version, Reveal Strong, is for those durable materials and durable residues. Now the third category is a little bit tricky because we call it super durable materials. And these are the coatings and graphene, ceramic coatings, those kinds of things that cross-link and bond and really hang on to the surface for a long time. Now in that case, I got to describe two scenarios. So these super durable materials that get on paint, the Reveal Strong will go after and remove those if you're in that window of the application of the coating where it's still curing and it's a fresh application. Okay, we're talking within 20 minutes, certainly under 4 hours of the application. You can kind of get into those and remove those. However, a lot of these products, most of them on the market, after curing and after they're fully cross-linked, they are chemically resistant. Many of them are chemically resistant, including these chemicals. So in that case, that scenario, you'd have to abrade that material off. So we're talking about compound or sanding or things like that. So
once the super durable materials lock, the only way a chemical is not going to strip
Not going to get it.
Understood.
You got to abrade it off. So there we go. Reveal Light, Reveal Strong. They have gone out to our distributors, I guess, a couple, 3 months ago.
Sure.
So they're available, and we would encourage you to try these out. It's a great addition to your procedure for compounding, polishing, and coating applications.
I know whenever I polish paint, I always do some type of alcohol or solvent wipe, so strong or light, right? Because the blue is a solvent base, the yellow is an alcohol base. Right. So that's the chemical difference between them. But I've always kind of suggested wipe the surface first. You don't know what's on it, right? You really don't know, and any contamination can affect your sanding or polishing process. And perfect results require a perfect prep step, right? Like it's all builds on itself. So do you have a recommendation of which one we would use, let's say prior to polishing or during polishing, or kind of maybe some tips or tricks on how do we know which one to grab for?
Yeah, so the Reveal Light is made for any procedure and it's safe on all paints and all that. So we would recommend you do this one first.
Start with light.
And then the Reveal Strong is there if you need a more stronger formula to go after something more durable. And our tip on the application is we recommend you spray the towel and then wipe on the paint surface. There's a lot of people I've seen out there that spray these chemicals directly on paint, and especially the Reveal Strong on delicate paint or fresh paint, it can actually be aggressive, and you've got to be mindful of where you're spraying this.
Sure, perfect, yeah. Great addition, and definitely something to add into the paint correction process to make sure you're always getting a consistent result, and the result you're achieving is the true result.
Right.
So.
Okay.
Cool. So moving on to the newest addition, which is in our family of Uno products. And so I'll start kind of with a small history of the Uno products and our family definition, and then talk about the newest one, which is Uno Advanced. Three products in the Uno family. Uno Pure is a pure finishing polish. It's the finest abrasive that we can put in a bottle, and it mechanically polishes the surface. So the gloss and shine you get is created. It's super long lasting. The only thing that really can wear it down is abrasion through incorrect washing or mishandling of the paint. So Uno Pure, as the name kind of throws it out there, is a pure finishing polish. Moving to the next one is Uno Protect. So Pure and Protect came out around the same time. Protect was our design at a one-step polish. It's the most reviewed, I think I've heard the most reviewed video on YouTube, or detailing product on YouTube.
If you actually search on YouTube for Rupes Uno Protect, literally hundreds of independent third-party reviews. I think it's our most reviewed product, and Rag Company likes it.
It's my favorite.
Levi's favorite.
We'll make sure we send the payment after. When the cameras aren't watching and these aren't being recorded.
And we're not being recorded.
Obviously.
Gotcha.
Uno Protect, it is about 90 days of protection. It features a blend of waxes and synthetic sealants, so it offers a real protection package. It has good paint correction. It's actually, of the three, the most aggressive. So in terms of paint correction ability, it's probably closer to our yellow series than the white. And going back to the color coordination, blue is our most aggressive, right? So blue is always a compounding or a strong step in the Rupes color system. Yellow is a medium, and then when all of the Uno bottles are in a white bottle, because they represent a last step product. So they are, in the terms of Uno Pure, an ultra fine polish. Uno Protect is a medium polish, but it finishes really well, leaves a good protection barrier. And then the newest one is Uno Advanced. And Uno Advanced represents the latest in protection technology blended into a one-step. So there's real nanoparticles in here, solids that go to the surface, that cross-link and bond, and provides up to 12 months of protection. Decent filling. So Uno Protect and Uno Advanced both have the capability of either mechanically removing paint defects or filling them in. Uno Advanced, a little less cut, a little less filling, but awesome protection, superior gloss, the chemical resistance you would expect in any of the latest generation of protectants on the market, regardless of their definition.
And I love how the Uno Advance, after the application, it leaves the surface really super smooth, which is one of those things that is like solid, tangible evidence to your customer that, hey, we put something on this paint. You can feel it, you can see the gloss, you can see the clarity. It's just an immediate transformation of the surface. Those of you that use it, you already know it's just a great product to give a once around on a car and really boost it. Now the other feature of Uno Advance is it's coating compatible, meaning that those of you installers that have coating applications, Uno Advance could actually be used on an age coating, talking 3-6 months later, that you get that car back in, you can refresh that coating, remove some minor defects, give it a little bit boost of protection, and use it as a maintenance polish. It's a great product for that.
And it won't degrade the water beading and those kind of characteristics you expect from a paint coating. Yeah. And so then looking at the three different Uno products, just some general recommendations of when to use either one. If you want to create mechanically the highest gloss possible, Uno Pure is your choice. So let's say you are a detailer and you stratify your services good, better, best. This could be a best because it is the perfect lead off for installing a actual paint coating.
Yeah.
Because what you see is what you get. Now Rupes always recommends following the paint coating manufacturer's recommended steps. So some may have a primer, some may have a solvent or an alcohol wipe. Follow that, but this is a great last step mechanical process. Or anytime you just want to create the highest shine possible. Uno Protect kind of sits in this weird area because it's so versatile. So on one end, we see people using it as a high-end follow-up to compounding and creating a really good shine. And then on the very far side is this express detail, or this enhancement detail, where you're applying it really quickly. You're getting a good gloss, but not all of it is from mechanical paint correction. It is filled. We're very open and honest about that. So those results last maybe 90 days of filling and gloss, but you get an immediate fast result. So Uno Protect really kind of does everything. It can be used as a second step follow-up for compounding. It's an awesome one-step polish. I use it, and we did a lot of testing in Florida on my truck in terms of durability, and that's all my truck has ever seen. About every 4 or 5 months I hit it with a white pad, and it looks great, and I'm not taking a lot of paint off, and so it works really well. And so that could be kind of, again, in that good, better, best, this could be your lead off good. Great results, fast, high profitability. And then Uno Advanced. Uno Advanced is unique in the fact that, as you mentioned, it could be a maintenance polish for coatings, which is really cool, but it's also an excellent second step after compounding.
That actually is my personal favorite use of Uno Advanced, is a second step after compound. It absolutely finishes out that car amazing.
And fast. Right,
and
and I mean, work it in a little bit, get a little bit of correction. We don't want to glaze the surface. We want to remove a little bit of defects, but that has become my go-to. So again, in this good, better, best scenario, good could be Uno Protect with that traditional enhancement detail that we've kind of been pushing for a while. I know the Rag Company, I've seen a couple of videos where they demonstrated it. Get it on, get it off, create an awesome result, be quick, maximize the results in the time. Uno Advanced is a step up. Maybe instead of just doing everything with a large tool, now we're doing a two-step correction. We're bringing in smaller tools, some edge work tools, which could be a good lead off for the next thing we're going to talk about. But you're gonna bring in a little bit more time consumption, because you might do a compounding step first. But any of the finishes that any of the Rupes Blue products produce, so except for maybe the 4-ply twisted wool pad, but if it's a cut and finish wool pad on a rotary, if it's any of the pads on any of our DAs, Uno Advanced can mechanically remove that mark and leave a stunning finish with durable protection. And then of course we talk about Uno Pure, which would be just the last step of any traditional polishing process.
And then one thing to mention about the Uno brand specifically in our lineup, because those of you that know our system, you know we have very specific products made for a specific tool movement within a system. Uno, to us, I mean, it means one in Italian language, but Uno means one product that can be used with any tool, any pad. So that's what the Uno sub-branding means for us. And the one exception is the Uno Advance. If you're going to use it as a maintenance polish on an aged coating, we recommend one pad and one pad only, and that is our ultrafine white finishing pad, because you don't want to take other stronger pads, you'll remove too much of that coating. So there's a very specific recommendation for the maintenance polish of Uno Advance. But other than that, any pad, any tool, generally speaking, our yellow version of our pads in each of the categories is the best choice for these products.
So the quick recap, and then we'll hand it over to you and or us. Maybe I'll join you on the small tool. Uno Pure finishing polish. Last step in a paint correction, ultra fine paint correction. That's what it does. Uno Protect, versatile, creates a great gloss, immediate gloss, 90 days of protection. And then for the ultimate in gloss and protection within the Rupes lineup, Uno Advanced.
Awesome.
Cool. Moving on to the HLR.
So we will talk about our new
Hybrid Mini.
Many of you know our initial foray into hybrid, and that's another sub-brand for us. Hybrid means the ability to take one tool and use it with a battery or a cord. So we built in the technology to be able to have your choice using a battery or a cord. That's what hybrid means to us. So we launched the Nano, which a lot of people called the hybrid, or the iBird if you're from the south.
Still from the south. I think just from anywhere. I got one of those iBirds.
iBirds.
Oh, really?
But it's called the Nano with hybrid technology, and this is called the Mini with hybrid technology. It's our next introduction into hybrid, and this is a very ergonomic, specific design to be able to be held with two hands if you want, one-handed. It has a tool shape that is very versatile. Use it in many different ways. I've got it fitted with our new microfiber pads. So if you haven't tried those, that's worthy of your time to check those out too. Microfiber pads, in the scheme of pads, there are 3 major materials: microfiber, wool, and foam. And of those 3, microfiber is a great choice for hard paint. So if you know you're on hard paint, that's your go-to pad. It'll step up your game on cut and finish. So this yellow version especially gives you contouring on hard paint. So anyway, this tool, battery technology, and it is an addition to your polishing approach as a multi-tool system approach. A lot of people choose to do one tool as a single tool method for polishing cars, and they take that one full-size tool and do every part of the car, even the edge work and tight areas. And that's okay, it's been done for decades.
It'll work.
But it's technique dependent. You have to take this big pad and stuff it into little areas. And it also can be a little bit more risky depending on which tool you're using.
Yeah, the movement. And Alberto, one of the Rupes technicians, and I taught a class where we took 21s and we polished entire cars with them, and we taught the class because there's a lot of technique adjustment. Yeah. But you're running the problem of backing plate interference into adjacent body panels. You're putting the pad on any random orbital polisher. The pad is always the most compromised part of the system, and when you start fitting big pads into little areas with tilt, angle, and pressure, you really shorten the life of the pads, and even worse, from a profitability standpoint, you lose massive amounts of efficiency. So really, if the goal is to get the job done to the highest quality level in the shortest time possible, that's where these spot and edge work tools come in. Rupes came out with the original one. It was the LHR 75 in, I think that was about 2012 or 13. Yeah. A great tool, changed the industry. It's that 12 millimeter design. We see it in a lot of other tools. We've seen that, one of so many positive compliments on that tool. Yeah. And now we came out with this, and once we get over that it looks a little different, which is a very normal comment the first time somebody sees it until they use it. But what's really interesting about the hybrid technology in this tool is, compared to our traditional Mini, which was groundbreaking, that is lighter, it is more ergonomic, and more torque, which is really a unique thing in the battery tool market. Is what we see is a lot of tools, when they change the power source, they're coming down in torque a little bit to elongate battery life. And in fact, how long is the battery life on this one, Jason?
Well, the runtime is at least 30-35 minutes under load. That's actually working the tool. I've had some experiences where it's stretched out to 40-45 minutes. And then the recharge rate in the battery is about the same. So if you do the math, the kit comes with 2 batteries, and you just swap out every 30 minutes and you can run continuously. But the most exciting thing for me personally on this, and I hear from a lot of our customers, is the torque is just amazing. And what that means to you if you're buying an edge work tool is that when you do polish out those scratches and defects on the edge, well, let's go over here. I'll show you over here. So this kind of tool would get you into these tight areas where a full-size pad on this curve would actually struggle a little bit. But because this 3-inch diameter can get in there, and you can get in there with a flat pad, it's actually ideal for these areas. Up in here, this is also an area where people struggle with full-size tools and full-size pads, but this tool, being a 3-inch diameter, gets in there really well. But with the additional torque that this provides, it removes those scratches and defects very quickly. So Todd mentioned the efficiency, and that's what this is all about. So normally with a full-size pad and a full-size tool, if you're doing a 6-pass application or roughly a minute of runtime, you can actually cut that in half. And you can short cycle this area and remove those scratches very quickly, and then move on to the next area. So all of these areas up in here, anything that's tight, small 2-inch, 3-inch areas, is all ideal for this tool. Even on this curve up here, this body line on the hood, the tool will be perfect for that. So this is the benefit of a multi-tool approach. You take your big full-size pad and your full-size tool, and you get the mid panels done very well in flat pad, like the tool likes to be flat. And then you can take this tool and do the edge work around the edge and get that done safely, quickly, and effectively.
Yeah, and even on Marty McFly's truck, there's plenty of areas where that tool will be a benefit. In modern cars, the edge work and the body panel shape is getting tighter, and sometimes I think car designers sometimes sit around and think, how can we make life difficult for detailers?
Let's put this razor sharp body line on the side.
Right here with a cove and that has no function. So great tool. The feedback from the market has been exceptional, and you know, it does light the way for Rupes in the future as well.
So next, I think that's it.
Yeah.
Is that everything?
Well, that's everything that we came here to talk about. Is there anything going on that you would like to tell us about, Jason?
Well, I think we have a Q&A coming up. I think they said we might have some questions. Do we have any?
Hey, there we go. We're on screen now. Hi there.
Hey.
I got some questions for you, so not to worry.
We might have some answers.
Do we have to be truthful in the answers?
Well,
I don't remember the contract.
Okay. I mean, that's up to you. We'll just leave it up to you. But obviously, I've got Ivan, I got Bradley here with me, so I'll go ahead and pass it around question-wise. But we can start up. There's compliments, there's questions. We'll just do that. First of all, my guy Kirby just wants to say the branded tire covers are a very nice touch. He's a fan.
Thank you.
So he's got good taste.
Fun little addition there.
And, you know, Jason did an excellent demonstration on how to install them on a tire.
Yes.
Well, there's a lot of confusion on those in the market, and you know, is it bottom up? Is it top down? Are we going east west? Or that was obviously Jason's fault. He talks with his hands a lot.
All right, this next one I'll have Ivan read off.
What is the secret for removing Uno Protect? I seem to have trouble removing it. Is there a specific towel or method you would recommend?
Yeah, there are some tips we can help you with, and this is not the first time we've heard this comment, but I want to coach you on a couple things with that product, also with Uno Advance. So what I'm about to tell you is true of Uno Protect and Uno Advance, okay? These are very rich products. There's a lot going on in the bottle. We're trying to remove defects and create gloss and lay down protection, lay down solids. There's a lot going on. But the application, you need to put the product on thin and even, almost to the point where the residue you're leaving behind is translucent and clear, like you can see through it. If you're applying it like a wax, where you put a heavy pasty film on the car, then that is not going to work well with these products. They're designed to go on thin and even. And remember, the primary objective of these products is fast. So we want the application to go on quickly. We want the residue wipe off to be quickly. So if you're not getting a 1 or a 2 pass wipe with the towel to get this residue off, then that simply means you may have put it on too thick. So thin and even. Also, make sure you shake the bottle aggressively before you apply, and then during your application of the car, shake up the bottle as you go. And then another tip for wipe off is a 2-towel method. So I can show you these 2 towels here. There's a short nap, short pile towel, short hairs, and then you've got these fluffy long-haired nap towels. And a 2-towel method does really well with these products or products like this. So you take the short nap towel, wipe off the heavy crust, the solids part of the residue, and that's what this towel is doing really well. And then in that same spot, you take the long hair towel. I'm sure I'm in the rag company building. I'm sure I'm using the wrong words, but long hair, short hair.
That sounds technical. Yeah, that sounds very technical to me.
These are different breeds of dogs.
Those are these are amazing towels. I wonder where we could purchase some high quality
really good
towels and rags like this.
So the 2-towel method does great. So I hope that helps for this viewer that asked that question. Just thin and even. Thin and shake. Shake the bottle. For sure. And then a 2-towel method. And if you find that you're still getting like a greasy, wipe that you're just moving product around. I forgot to say the one thing that's important about these is wait a full 20 minutes.
20 minutes before wipe off and 4 hours before exposure to moisture. So
you're going to put it on the entire car and then wait a full 20 minutes. And I'm talking at least 20 minutes. It could be 2 hours, but wait a full 20 minutes. and then that wipe off will come off much easier for you.
And a follow-up question, it wasn't asked, but as far as the product goes, humidity, how much does that affect the process?
Mr. Florida guy?
Yeah. Well, first of all, when I see a difficult wipe off of either Advanced or Protect, generally it's over application. I'm not blaming anybody. I'm not saying that's always the cause, but it's common because it's hard to imagine how little goes a long way. I mean, very little of the product will cover a huge amount of surface area. Now, as far as humidity affecting wipe off, that 20-minute recommendation in some ways kind of represents a worst case scenario. So as long as we've waited 20 minutes in Florida, we've had no problem with wipe off. Provided that it's applied thin. If you can see a thick white haze as it dries, then yeah, it's probably too heavy. Whisper thin is better than. Although we're okay with you using more product. So.
I mean, we're Americans, and we think more is better. So if we hose it on, it must work better. But that's not true of these.
Half a bottle per car.
Oh boy!
So Todd gets paid on commission, I think.
All right, this next one
I'll have by the ounce.
I'll have Brad read off this next one from Hans.
Yeah, here's another question I'm sure many have in mind. Ooh. When will the new battery-powered 15mm machine launch? Not asking for a friend.
I think tomorrow. It's
yeah.
We're in the lying part of the show. Okay.
Yeah. a rag company just caught us. We've just been so quiet about it, but now
you got me, boys.
Well, we cannot confirm nor deny.
The HLR is a nice way moving forward.
I heard it was before Christmas. Just we don't know what year.
Yeah, could be any year.
Yeah. Before February 3rd of something.
Hey, did I mention we have these tire covers?
Yeah. And
okay.
If you give us a few seconds, we'd like to talk about solvents and alcohol-based wipes.
Oh, excellent. Yeah, no, that's what happens. Okay, yeah, deflect. Speaking of which, Glenn just wanted to point out, it's all about prep. And to that point, obviously with the products there, I mean, you could take a little second, maybe give us a 30-second blurb on the importance of prep work, because I know some guys might think it's take it lightly and just get right to the point. I want to polish things. It's there's something to do before you do that.
Yeah, prep work sets the foundation for everything else. In fact, rushing through prep work, in my experience, is often a recipe for disaster, because anytime you start introducing or not controlling the variables that can affect the process, and really that's what prep work is, in my opinion, for paint correction, is setting and controlling the variables so you can predict the result. So anytime you allow side impacts to get in the way, your result potential, now sometimes you may get lucky and it doesn't make a difference, but other times you can run into a lot of trouble. So.
Well, and there's a lot of comments I'm reading on the Instagrams and the social media protection products are failing when they see the features of protection fail prematurely, and we go back detailing many years, decades, and it was always the case. But because coatings has raised awareness on this prep, but with regular Carnauba wax or a machine applied polymer sealant way back 20 years ago, it's always been the case that if you don't do a proper wash, if you don't properly decontaminate both chemically and mechanically, then these protection products don't bond as well, they don't perform as well, and they don't last as long. It's always been the case, but now there's enhanced awareness because of paint coatings, and you can cause a protection product to fail within days.
Well, even polish technology, right? Technology in the abrasives has gotten smaller. We've moved away from really harsh and aggressive solvents that can help clean the abrasives during the polishing process. Yeah. So even in terms of getting the most out of the modern polishes, which is incredible, right? When you and I started, the idea of a compound producing a high gloss was almost hard to conceive. Yeah. I mean, it was just and now we're there. But what as these products continue to become more and more advanced.
I see what you did.
Did you like that? That was my one good thing I've done this whole. I apologize for everything else. But as the products become more advanced, I think prep actually becomes more and more important to make sure we're getting the full potential of those products.
So very important.
Excellent. And I know you answered this in the comments, but I'm going to have you read it anyway.
Yeah, so
Ivan.
Glenn Dennis is asking, can you use this or the Reveal products before any coating or any particular coatings?
Well, to Todd's point earlier, and as a company, Rupes, we want to draw the attention to this answer to the coating manufacturer. So pay attention to what your manufacturer of your protection product is recommending that you do prior to the install of their product, and during the install of their product, and after the install of their product. Just pay attention to their direction. So we defer that to them first and foremost. But with our product, yes, you can use Reveal Light or Reveal Strong prior to a coating application, prior to a compound step. You can use these between steps or at the final wipe down before adding protection.
I find myself using Reveal Strong, particularly when I'm polishing a car for the first time and I don't know what's been done to it, and it's factory OEM paint. But then once I kind of do that process, I switch over to Reveal Light between steps and for prep work.
Yeah.
No, that makes sense. And then this one's not really a question so much as a comment. I haven't seen this, so I'm afraid it may be somewhere we can't talk about. But Joey says Levi has a Uno Protect tattoo.
I can confirm that. It's not in a place we want to.
Okay. Yeah, we'll just move on. We'll move on. We're all fans of it here, though. I think we've established that. So, Bradley, you got this next one.
All right. For the panel preps after wiping down, is there a wait time until the solvent evaporates before a coating?
Yeah, this is actually a good suggestion. I'm glad the question's asked to raise awareness to this. So anytime you're solvent loading, I call it solvent loading, but you spray chemicals on a paint. Paint has porosity, and it's elastic, and it's a semi-permeable membrane, just like the human skin. There are fluids that come out of our skin and fluids that can get in our skin. The car paint, even though it feels hard to the touch, it's the same way. Fluids can go in and out. So you do want to wait. This actually happened a couple days ago. I was in a training class. So it depends on your climate. The amount of time you wait really depends on how much humidity, how much temperature, how much airflow you have in the environment you're working. But you want to wait at least 5, maybe 10 minutes to let solvents outgas once you've wiped on a panel.
Great point. Great question.
Yeah. All right. And we're getting live from the source. Apparently, Levi's wife is saying the Uno tattoo is news to me. So that's an important distinction to note there.
I took a photo.
Oh, okay, okay.
I think it's under his hairline.
Okay. Ulysses just popping in here to say, Reveal is Rupes panel prep? I must have missed that part. Well, we've been talking about it for a minute, but now you know.
There you go.
I'll go back to my queue here. Let's get one for Ivan. Let's try this one. Oh, this is important.
So, Rupes, are your polishers and compounds body shop safe? And are they filler and silicone free?
The DA series and rotary series of polishes and Uno Pure are silicone free. Body shop safe is a little bit of a trickier one to unpeel, because there are silicones in both the Uno Advanced and Uno Protect.
Yeah.
However, that doesn't necessarily mean that they're not body shop safe. The confusion is it's primarily airborne silicones that are not body shop safe. There's also, silicone is a very broad term with a lot of different silicones, but these are not permeable. They're not going to bond. Any regular panel prep that was done should easily remove whatever residue is on there. So from that standpoint, they are body shop safe. In fact, we know a lot of body shops, particularly in Europe, that are using Uno Protect
every day without any paint contamination.
Correct.
So, yeah, the true contaminant, is, like you said, is the airborne silicon.
Or bad prep.
Or if you're touching it and you just handle the panel.
But body shops that are adverse to using silicone and prefer that they have an SOP that limits silicone use, well, these do have silicone in them, so that may not be for them.
Only those.
But actually, so Jason and I had done a lot of research on this. In one of the Rupes employees in Europe was a coating. What was Fabrizio's? He was a coating engineer or something like that.
Or woodworking, paints and coatings.
But his background, and we did, and so it turns out that silicone is actually in some clear coats, and silicone, ironically, is in fisheye eliminator, which is added to clear coat to prevent fish eyes. So not all silicones are necessarily unsafe for that environment, and if used as directed, these are fine.
And
but
actually, the reality is that in a body shop or a collision repair environment, there are many, many products in that building that contain silicone as an ingredient. There's seam sealers and all kinds of dressings and things that get applied to a car. So there's a one standard of no silicone, and then there's is it body shop safe? And what we're saying is airborne silicones are a risk in a fresh paint environment. These are not airborne silicones.
But we understand. Some shops try to eliminate any chance of contamination, and that's certainly fine. In that case, these may not be the products for you.
Okay, no, that was a very helpful distinction. So thanks for kind of pointing that out. I think a lot of people actually learned something.
And having owned body shops, I can tell you that a lot of body shop owners and employees are afraid of the word silicone. Never mind having silicones in the product. You just mention the word silicone and they get goosebumps. So
yeah, it's a black flag, unfortunately.
All right, Bradley, you got this one.
You guys may have touched on it, but Edmund's asking, is there a benefit to waiting longer than 15 minutes for Uno Advanced to set up before wiping it off? 20 minutes is the recommendation. So
at least.
The first benefit is doing 20 minutes. But after that, we've kind of tested this on purpose and accidentally with both the Uno products, and I've left it on for almost, I think it was 3 days, and wipe off was easy. I think you had a situation where you put it on Friday in the academy and came back on Monday and it wiped off easy. So the benefit seems to be that a little bit longer dwell time can, especially if it's applied thickly, make the wipe off even easier. What there isn't is a negative. So if you have the ability to leave it on, then leave it on. Any benefit is not going to be dramatic. I think it's really kind of limited to wipe off, but for sure, if you can't get it off right away, don't worry about it, and the wipe off should be easy.
Let me explain the science behind this dwell time, waiting for the residue to. So the science behind this is both Uno Protect and Uno Advance. They have ingredients in there that are carriers. They deliver the solids, which is machine applied, but it's delivered to the surface. Now, what's happening in the 20 minutes is the solids are laying down. There's some materials like carnauba waxes and polymer sealants that are laying down and they're settling on the surface. At the same time, there are fluids that are outgassing during that first 20 minutes. So that outgassing actually triggers the polymer sealant to cross-link. So this first 20 minutes is very important. You want to lay down this product thin and even, and then don't agitate it. Don't start wiping on it, just leave it alone, let it do its thing because it's beginning to do what it needs to do, and then you can wipe the residue off after 20 minutes.
Okay.
Or longer.
Or longer,
And then I'm going to follow up with actually Simon Bach, although we call him Simon Birch around here, just for fun. He's asking, now the question is, how long can we go without wipe off?
We don't know. We've gone
mystery.
as long as 4 or 5 days and had no issues. Actually, at that point, my fear is this, and I don't know how founded it is, but dust and dirt is landing on the surface, so now you're grinding things into the paint as you're wiping off the residue. So that, to me, is probably the biggest problem with an extended period of having residue on the surface. But chemically, after a couple hours, I don't think there's really a reaction happening. So at that point, it could be 1 day or a year, and the wipe-off should be fairly consistent. But again, now you're competing with all the stuff that's landed on the paint in that process.
Well, and it kind of defeats the purpose of the efficiency built into the product, where you're trying to get it on and off the car in under an hour is what we're targeting for application time. And
it would be really protected.
Huh?
I mean, it would be incredibly well protected. Just put a bunch on and never touch the car again.
And then drive around with the residue.
Could look a little weird, but
well, yeah. And if Dane could actually keep a car this long,
well,
it'd be interesting to put it on his Flex and then see.
It's limited by my ability to keep a car,
right?
Keep a car.
And then see if at TRCMA 2024 you can wipe it off, but he won't keep it that long.
That could be quite a demo. I'm just saying, maybe a test is in the works. Tell you what, we got a familiar face here, Ivan. I'm going to have you read this one.
How about dusting?
Oh, Brian.
Yeah. Brian is concerned about getting dust on his hat.
Exactly.
That's true. He wears those black hats that they'll show everything.
But he has no eyes. He can't see the dust.
I don't know what happened to him. It's I saw him not that long ago, and
That's looking nice.
It's a nice touch.
I'm assuming he's talking about Uno Advanced, but none of the Uno products should have any issues with dusting, and they were formulated specifically to be very, very low in dust.
If you are getting any dusting with these, and it's not expected at all, but if you are,
I would take off the hat. Yeah, I mean that's an issue.
And get some eyes. So
maybe get some eyes, and then you can see that there's no dust, Brian.
It probably is a pad cleaning issue. You really need to blow out the pad and clean that pad, because the products themselves are not adding dust. So.
Well, and it may not be a Brian problem, but perhaps the dust is actually somebody's dandruff. That's always an option too.
Definitely.
Not Brian's
put
problem.
on the hat. Yeah, if that's the case.
Just looking out for our friends. We got Glenn here saying, "Is Rupes going to market a pure coating?" I guess they got an idea because of the Advance.
So let's defer to the same answer as the 15 millimeter.
Yeah, you caught us.
Same answer as a 15 millimeter battery.
In fact, I was kind of thinking we could lay out our plan for the next year. And then, if you
just want to do that right here. Okay.
Why don't we just tell all our competition what we're
That's what I was thinking. But no, we appreciate the questions, of course, and there's certain things that we're working on that remain proprietary, but stay tuned.
Do you want me to do a Michael Jackson moonwalk?
Can you?
I can't.
Because that wasn't it. I mean, actually,
I might hurt
I think you might have.
So, in the case of this next one, MB Auto Detail says he loves his current Mini, but he hates the long cord. It sounds like it just needs a battery.
Yeah, we have a solution for you.
Yeah, it's right there in front of you.
The hybrid Mini?
Done and done. All right.
Problem solved.
Yeah, there's actually, we have three Minis now. So there's the Mini corded tool, which he's referring to.
Oh, right, yes.
And then we have the Mini pneumatic.
There's actually 4.
Which is
there's 2 pneumatics.
Forgot about that one. Yeah.
LTA.
Triple action.
Yeah.
And then our hybrid Mini. So those 3. He's referring to a 4th one, which is an industrial tool. Focus tool, but it's pneumatic as well.
Still counts. Yeah. So Bradley, you got this one.
And Simon's looking forward to a little bit more of the functionality of those wheel covers aside from the branding aspect. He says, "I've been wanting those wheel covers for ages, as sometimes I accidentally hit the wheel when coating and throw the towel away immediately."
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. You can keep the towels clean if you accidentally hit the tire.
All right. Then I got Eddie simply saying he needs to raise his credit card limit, so he's getting on that.
We agree. And my recommendation would be to call your credit card company. There's usually a number on the back. Let them know that you're interested in purchasing high-quality Rupes products from the RAD company, and they would gladly show you Levi's tattoo and raise your credit limit.
Say no more, sir. Here's an extra 10 grand. Okay,
good return on your investment.
You need to go to 30 grand. It's
okay. Sorry. Yeah, we're bumping it up.
Yeah. So, which polisher and compound does Rupes recommend for beginners and do-it-yourselfers?
A couple of each. I would say all, as my Spanish-speaking friends would say, todo. But I'm not sure. I mean, really, within the system, it's pretty user-friendly. Probably DA Fine is our most versatile product. And
if you're new to our system, I think the thing you can start at, if you look at our color scheme, I don't have everything out here, but anything that's branded with the color yellow, that's a medium of our range of aggressiveness. So yellow pad, yellow liquid. Sorry, that's where it'd be good to start in our system and learn how to use it.
Yeah, it provides probably the most versatile tool is the LHR 15 Mark III. That tool is a great, blend of performance between cutting action and versatility on a wide number of body panel shapes. So if I had a beginner package, it would be the 15 Mark III, the DA Fine, and then yellow wool and yellow foam pad, and that would give you the versatility. Yeah, even with the yellow wool, we use that all the time to remove 3,000 grit marks. Not that we would recommend a beginner do that, but you will have the ability to grow into that as you feel more comfortable polishing without getting crazy to the paint. So.
And then another option, if you prefer a smaller body frame, a smaller tool, almost as powerful as the 15 millimeter tool. So same price point range, but there's a the tool called the Duetto.
The LHR12E Duetto is a little smaller orbit too. It's a 12 millimeter orbit versus a 15, so it does tend to be a little bit more versatile. You're trading just a touch of top end power for even better versatility, and that tool, every time I use it, I always wonder to myself why I don't use it more.
Yeah, I can one-hand it on the roof of a car and kind of get long extensions. So
Moonwalk.
It's all good
Yeah.
Oh no! By the way, Joey did point out that's the first moonwalk he's ever seen go forward.
Yeah. Me too, Joey.
And Brian also said Jason needs a hat.
Jason would look great in a leather fedora, by the way.
You might need to use some reveal to get Brian's face to show up on the other one there. We got a few little good ones here, but I've got real questions. Don't worry, there are real ones.
Thanks for pointing out my deficiencies in my moonwalk. Appreciate it.
All right.
We'll never get to see it again.
Okay. Here's a good one I can get there. I'm gonna throw up Pasquale here because he actually just bought himself a Rupes duel yesterday. Had everybody sign it, but Ivan, if you could.
Yeah, after using HLR for a couple of hours, it starts getting hot on the top handled trigger. Would you consider that normal?
Shouldn't get hot.
No, if it's hot, I mean, is there going to be a little bit of warmth? Yeah. Sure, there's a transmission in here in this vertical stack and the motors, so we would expect a little bit of temperature increase, but to me, hot's a little bit concerning because that would mean it's becoming uncomfortable to the touch, and that absolutely should not happen. So if it's getting uncomfortable to the touch, then contact your distributor, and I would suggest let's look at the tool and see what's going on, because that's beyond the realm of normal.
Well, my recommendation there is this speed dial goes from 0, up to 5. So there's 5 settings on the speed dial, and a lot of people try and crank this up to 4 and 5. And I would recommend that you actually experiment and try this at speed 2 or speed 3. The tool has a lot of torque, so it does a lot of work quickly, and you don't need the high speeds on the dial. So maybe with heavy pressure and
yeah, 5 and ramming down on it could get hot because you're pulling a lot of power through the motor. But if it's uncomfortably hot, that's outside the realm of normal operating temperatures for sure.
Try the lower speeds. I think you'll find that the tool will do just as much work at lower speeds.
Okay, and I was told I had one more question, so I just want to get this one there because I think this is an important one.
Sure.
No,
Bradley, if you wouldn't mind.
I assume using reveal and any panel wipe of that matter softens the paint?
It can, especially given refinish paint scenarios where you're on repainted cars. Back in the day, I'm going back 20, maybe 30 years, but the paint technology actually had some solvency to it. So you would add solvents and soften the paint. And that happens less and less with today's current polyurethane. It's, paint that locks up tight and it doesn't re-soften with chemistry. But there is situations where you'll be on an older car, single stage maybe, where it could actually pre-soften the paint, and that can happen, but I would say that it doesn't happen as much as it used to.
And is that permanent? Or is it a temporary effect?
It'll temporarily soften, and then when the solvent outgasses, it hardens up again. But today's technology is a chemistry called thermal set. So once the paint is cross-linked and cured during its application at the car factory, there is no reflowing it or getting it soft again with chemistry. It's kind of an old school on lacquers and acrylic enamels. It did happen then.
And to be safe on that, and just to build on that, because of what Jason just explained, Reveal Strong, we don't recommend it on uncured paint. Yeah. So if it's out of the body shop, even if it's been in a paint booth, I wouldn't put it on for several days and to the towel and then onto the paint, never directly onto refinished paint.
Yeah, there's even a caution. There's a caution on the label regarding that. Yeah.
Well, that's an excellent point.
Yeah, great question.
Yeah, no, I thought that would be kind of a good way to wrap it up. The last one is just a compliment. Just want to throw it on the screen. Dan here, Alkaline Towpad, saying, I just wanted to say thank you to Jason for the phenomenal Rupes class way back in 2018 with Obsessed Garage and TRC.
Ah, awesome. Thank you so much. Appreciate you.
Yeah.
All right, fellas. Well, that was a wonderful segment. I hope people learned some things, got some takeaways, and speaking of takeaways, I think people are going to want what they see on the table. So, if you haven't already, you've seen it now, you're aware of it. Any last words, guys?
Thank you so much. I appreciate your time watching, and I appreciate what the Rag Company's doing.
Everything you guys do behind the scenes to pull off this event is incredible, and I was very honored to be here, and thank you guys for everything you've done very much.
All right. Thank you so much, Todd and Jason.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.